Hi everyone, I'm Dr.P.Arokia Marry, working as a professor in the Department of IT at V.S.B.Engineering College, Karur. Through this video lecture, I'm going to talk about the course Network Security. This course contains 5 chapters. Chapter 1 is the introduction. So in this chapter, to learn the fundamentals of cryptography. At the end of the chapter, you are able to explain the fundamental concepts of cryptography, including what are the techniques are available in conventional and public key crypto systems and hash functions, and what are the techniques are used for authentication and digital signatures. Chapter 2 is key management and authentication. The main objective of this chapter is to learn the key management techniques and authentication approaches. At the end of the chapter, you are able to describe key management mechanisms and evaluate remote user authentication using symmetric and asymmetric encryption. Chapter 3 is access control and security. The main objective is to explore the network and transport layer security techniques. At the end of the chapter, you are able to explain access control mechanisms and analyze the security protocols used at the network and transport layers such as IP security, SSL, HTTPS, and SSH. Chapter 4 is application layer security. The objective is to understand the application layer security standards. At the end of the chapter, you are able to describe application layer security techniques, including secure email mechanisms and wireless device security methods. Chapter 5, the security practices. The objective is to learn the real-time security standards. At the end of the chapter, you are able to apply security practices for real-time applications. Before entering into the topic, I ask some question. Why do we provide security to our home? Yes, we provide security to our home, protect ourselves, and also protect our valuable things. Similarly, why do we provide security to system? We provide security to a system, protect the data and resources from unauthorized access and attacks. And also, we ensure that the confidentiality as well as the integrity. Why is network security is needed? Network security is needed to protect the networks and data from the unauthorized access and damage. And also, we ensure the reliable communication. So now we enter into the topic. So first is the introduction part. So in that introduction, we discuss the basics of cryptography. So we'll cover the following topics. First one is the computer security. In the computer security, we discuss the definition and what are the key security concepts are used and what is the levels of impact. Then second is the security categories. So we'll discuss what are the different types of categories are available. Then third topic. So what are the different kinds of security techniques are available, like encryption, access control, and firewalls. Next, we will discuss the basic terminologies. So in that basic terminologies, what is cryptography, what is encryption, what is plain text, what is ciphertext. Likewise, we will discuss. Then next, we discuss about the aspects of security. So in this, we discuss the 3 kinds of security. That is, what are the attacks, services, and mechanism. And finally, we discuss the models for network security. So now we enter the first one, that is computer security. So what do you mean by computer security? So it gives some production to an automated system. So through this production, we have to ensure some 3 objectives. What are they? So they are confidentiality, integrity, as well as the availability. These 3 are the main 3 key security concepts. We provide the security. That means we have to ensure that the confidentiality, integrity, as well as the availability. What do you mean by confidentiality? Confidential means it is a secret. So how do we send the information securely from one entity to another entity. That is called as a confidentiality. Then second one is integrity. During the data transmission, we must ensure that the data cannot be altered. That is called as a integrity. Then third one is the availability. So that availability, we provide the resources only to the authorized persons. So these three are the major key security concepts: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Next, we discuss the level of security impact. There are three levels of impact. One is low impact, second one is moderate impact, and third one is high impact. What is low impact? So if it is any loss, the loss could be expected to have a limited adverse effect on organizational operations or assets or the individuals. So this loss of, we already discussed, there are three key security concepts. So the loss in either confidentiality, integrity, or availability. That might cause a degradation to perform its the primary function. But the effectiveness is just they have reduced the functionality. That's all. It is not entirely stopped, just it reduced the functionality. Then the result in minor damage to the assets or minor financial loss, minor harm to the individuals. So this is the low impact. So what is the moderate impact? The loss would be expected to have a serious device effect on organizational operation, assets, and individuals. So here, the cause is a significant degradation. Okay, so in that, to perform its primary functions, but the effectiveness of the function is significantly reduced. Okay, then the result in significant damage to the asset, significant financial loss, and a significant harm to individual. So this does not involve the loss of life or serious or life-threatening injuries. Just they have significant changes only. That is called as a moderate. Okay. So what is the high impact? So in this, the loss would be expected to have a severe adverse effect on organizational operation, organizational assets, or individuals. Okay. So in this case, might produce the severe degradation. That means it's not able to perform the functions. So in the low impact, just the effectiveness is reduced. Then moderate, it's significantly reduced. But in high, it is not possible to do the operations or functions. Result in major damage to the asset, major financial loss, and the harm to the major severe harm to the individuals. That means that involves the loss of life or serious life-threatening injuries. So these are the three levels of impacts of the security. Next one is the security categories. So there are four kinds of categories: cryptography, data security, network security, and then information security. So first we discuss what is cryptography. So we know familiar. So that is they do the encryption and decryption of the particular data before transfer to the receiver. So we have to do the encryption as well as decryption process. We are regularly using the WhatsApp. In that WhatsApp, they have to say your message is end-to-end encrypted. That means your message is securely transferred from one entity to another entity. That is called as a cryptography. What is data security? So data security, we ensure that the safe data from modification as well as corruption. That is called as a data security. Then third one is a network security. Network security is the production of data on the network during the transmission or during the sharing period. Okay, that is called as a network security. And fourth one is the information security. This information security is used to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information assets, whether it is in the storage or in the processing level or in the transmission. That is called as a information security. How to protect the three things. These three are the main key security concerns. Okay, confidentiality, integrity, availability of the information assets, whether it is in the either in the storage level or in the processing level or in the transmission level. So these are the four kinds of security categories. Then security techniques. What are the techniques are used for security? There are six kinds of techniques are used. One is encryption, second one is access control, third one is data backup, fourth one is firewall, fifth one is antivirus, and the sixth one is intrusion detection system. Okay. So what do you mean by encryption? So encryption is nothing but you have to protect the information or data. How do you protect it? So for example, I have the send the message hello. That hello is not directly sent like hello. We convert that hello into some other form. So for example, for I want to replace H with the I, E with the K, L with the O. Similar next L with O and O with some other character P. Okay. So the message is not directly passed. The message is converted from one form to another form. That is called as a encryption. So original message is called as a plain text. That message is converted into some other form. That some other form, it's called as a ciphertext. Or it is called as a scrambled message. Or that message is in not readable form, unreadable message. So that is called as an encryption. Okay. So next one is the access control. What is that access control? You have to access the data or computer that is controlled by using some mechanism. Okay, you have to access the data using some mechanism that is called as access control. Then third one is the data backup. The data backup is nothing but you have to save the additional copies of data in separate physical or virtual locations because a lot of threatening may be possible. So we have to do frequently do the backup process. We have to take the data from separate physical or virtual locations. The next one is a firewall. So firewall, we have to provide a network security device that monitors the incoming as well as outgoing network traffic. So we allow only the valid incoming URL to the network. Similarly, for the outgoing also, we have to ensure that the monitoring process. Okay, so that is called firewall. Then the fifth one is the antivirus. So many antivirus offer programs are included real-time threat detection as well as the production process. We have to use the antivirus software. So a lot of softwares are available. We use any one of the software. Then intrusion detection system. It is a protection from the internal attackers. So these are the some security techniques are used for the security purpose. So what are the basic terminologies are used for this cryptography? Now we discuss some basic terminology. Cryptography, plain text, ciphertext, what is cipher, what is key, what do you mean by encipher, what do you mean by decipher, what is cryptanalysis, what is cryptanalyst, then cryptology. So these are the basic terminology now we discuss. Okay. So what do you mean by cryptography? It is an art or science that encompass the principles and methods of transforming the plain text into ciphertext. What is plain text? It is the original message. That message is in readable form. Using some algorithm, we convert that message into some other form. That means in unintelligible form. That is unreadable form. It is not easy to understand. That is called as a ciphertext. Okay. The receiver end, that receiver receive that ciphertext and again they do the decryption process and convert the ciphertext into plain text. Okay, so unreadable message into readable message. So this entire process is called as a cryptography. What do you mean by plain text? Original message is called as a plain text or readable message. Then ciphertext, that's scrambled message or unintelligible message or unreadable message is called as a ciphertext. What do you mean by cipher? Cipher is nothing but it is an algorithm of transforming your plain text message into one that is unintelligible. So how do you do that transformation? We do the transformation either using the substitution techniques or the transposition techniques. Using any one of the techniques, we convert the plain text into ciphertext. So that algorithm is called as a cipher. Okay. Next one is what? Key. So key is some critical information, that information used by the algorithm, that is used by the cipher. Key is known only to the sender and the receiver. If suppose that is known by the opponent, then they easy to decrypt your information. Okay, so that key is a secret information. That information is known only by the sender and the receiver. Next one is the end cipher. What do you mean by end cipher? It is the process of converting plain text into ciphertext. That is called as a end cipher. The next one is a decipher. So decipher is the process of converting the ciphertext into plain text using the cipher and key. So encryption also we use the cipher and we use the plain text and key. Okay, plain text and key is used as the input to the algorithm and then convert the plain text into ciphertext. Okay. Similarly, for decipher, we use the cipher and key, convert that cipher into plain text. Next one is a analysis. So this script analysis is one of the study. Okay. So it is a study of principles and methods of transforming an unintelligible message back to its original message. Okay. So that main thing was without knowing the key. Okay, without the knowledge of key, they have to try to break the coding. That is called as a, that person is called as a, sorry, that kind of study is called as a analysis. Script analyst. Script analyst is nothing but who can do any one or all of the three different following things. First one is either they want to attempt to break a single message or attempt to recognize the patterns only. Okay, first one is break a message. Second one is analyze only the patterns. That means what? How that plain text is converted into ciphertext. For that conversion, what kind of patterns they applied. Okay, third one is attempt to find the general weakness. Okay, so that person is called as a script analyst. The study is called as script analysis. Who will do these kinds of activity, that person is called as an analyst. The next one is a cryptology. Cryptology is nothing but both cryptography as well as analysis. So this is called as a cryptology. So these are the basic terminologies is used in that security. Next one is the aspects of security. There are three aspects of security. One is the attack. Second one is mechanism. Third one is a service. Before entering into this aspects of security, first we understand the difference between three terms. One is threat. Second one is a vulnerability. And third one is a attack. What do you mean by threat? Threat is any possible danger that can harm our system as well as data. For example, hacker, virus, natural disaster. So these are some kinds of threat. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability is a weakness in a system that can be exploited by a threat. Example, weak password, outdated software. So we only provide the way for that particular threat. Then third one is an attack. Attack is an actual attempt to exploit the vulnerability to cause the damage or gain unauthorized. So these are the terms we must know. Okay, what is threat, what is vulnerability, and what is. So these three kinds of aspects of security. So in that first one, we discuss about the attack. Okay. So this attack is a two kinds. One is active attack and another one is a passive attack. Okay. So the passive attack, the aim is to do only the eavesdropping. Just they want to know what is going on. That's all. Okay. For example, so in that passive attack contain two types. One is interception and another one is traffic analysis. So what is interception? For example, the user Bob wants to send some information to Alice. Okay, so Bob sends some information to Alice. During the transmission, an opponent like that read the contents of message from Bob to Alice. Just they do the eavesdropping process only. So this is called as a interception. Second one is a traffic analysis. So in that, his or her aim was to know the what is the pattern applied to that transmission. Okay, first one is they want to know what is happening, what message is going from one end to another end. That's all. So in this traffic analysis, that person aim is what is the pattern applied from sender to receiver. They have to analyze the pattern only. Okay. So either it is the interception or traffic analysis, both aim is just what is going on. So that is called as a passive attack. Next one is the active attack. So active attack, they do the real attack process. Okay. So for example, here they contains four types. One is the masquerade, second one is replay, third one is modification, and fourth one is denial of service. Okay. So what is masquerade? So in that active attack, his aim that opponent aim is either they do some modification to the message or they want to act as a sender. Likewise, they do the process. So what is masquerade? So masquerade is nothing but an opponent acts as a sender. One entity tend to be another entity. That is called as a masquerade. So here, Bob wants to send information to Alice, but Bob is not really send any information. An opponent does act as a Bob and they send the message to Alice. But Alice, they know this information is coming from Bob only. She doesn't know that information is coming from that. Okay, so this is called as a masquerade. Then next one is replay. So in this replay, Bob sent information to Alice. Through the transmission, an opponent does read the message and later on they send the information to the Alice. This is called as a replay. Actually, Bob sent the information to Alice. During the transmission, capture that information and replay the message to Alice later, not immediately. This is called as a replay. Third one is modification. This is somewhat dangerous. Okay. So Bob sent information to the Alice. An opponent read that information and then do some alteration on that original message. Later on, they send that message to the Alice. This is called as a modification process. Then fourth one is a denial of service. In the denial of service, the main aim is, an opponent aim is to disturb the service. That's all. Okay. That is called as a denial of service. They want to disturb the service provided by the server. So these are the four kinds of active attack. So passive attack aim was to only do the eavesdropping process only. But the active attack, they have to either modify or act as a sender. Likewise, they use a process. So next we discuss the security service. So security services are used to protect the assets from the threats. Okay. So there are two types of service. So one is X.800, RFC 2828. These are the some standard organization. These organizations provide the services for security. Okay. So what is X.800? So this is the service provided by the protocol layer of the communicating open systems. What is the purpose? They have to ensure that adequate security of the systems. Next one is RFC 2828. It is a processing or communication service provided by a system to give a specific kind of protection to the system resources. Okay. So now we discuss what are the security services provided by X.800. There are 6 services provided by X.800. One is authentication, second one is access control, third one is confidentiality, fourth one is data integrity, fifth one is non-repudiation, and sixth one is availability. What do you mean by authentication? Authentication is nothing but you have to ensure that whether the particular user is an authorized person or not. Nowadays, we are all having the Gmail account. If you want to enter into your account, first they ask the credential. If the credentials are correct, then only it is possible to access the account. It is called as authentication. Okay. So the authentication assurance that the communicating entity is the one client. Second one is the access control. So access control, we have a lot of resources. Not possible to provide rights to all resources to all users. We have some privileges, isn't it? Okay. So if you want to give privilege to the resource, that means some resources will be accessed only by some users. Okay. So that is called as the access control, prevention of an unauthorized use of a resource. Then third one is data confidentiality. That means we have to securely send the data. That data is not open to all. Okay, it is confidentially. Okay, so production of data from unauthorized disclosure, that is called as data confidentiality. Then fourth one is data integrity. What do you mean by data integrity? Have the assurance that data receipt is as sent by the authorized entity. That means during the transmission, the data cannot be altered. That is called as a data integrity. Fifth one is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is nothing but protection against denial by one of the parties in the communication. That means either sender can deny the message or receiver can deny the message. That is called as a non-repudiation. The last one is availability. So availability, resources are accessible or usable by the authorized persons only. That is called as availability. So these are the security services provided by X.800. Next one is security mechanism. So security mechanism is a method or the technique. Using that technique protects the data and system from unauthorized access, attacks as well as threats. There are two kinds of mechanism. One is specific security mechanism and another one is pervasive security mechanism. So what's the difference between these two? Specific security mechanism is the encipherment, digital signature. What is encipherment? That means do the encryption process. Then create digital signatures. Then access controls, data integrity, authentication, exchange. So these are specific security mechanism. Then what do you mean by pervasive security mechanism? We provide the trusted functionality, security labels, then event detection, security audit trials. These are the pervasive security mechanisms. The last one is a model for network security. So if you want to give a model or how do you do the network security, how do you transfer the information securely through the network. So this is the model. So in that model, this is the left side is the sender, right side is the receiver. Sender can send the information. That information is not directly sent to the receiver. Sender send the information before sending to the receiver. First, they have to do some transformation. That is security related transformation. That transformation we already discussed, either substitution or transposition methods. Using that methods and also using the key, he convert that message into some other form. So that is the original message is converted into some other form using that algorithm as well as the secret information that is called as a key. So now the original message is converted into ciphertext. That information is passed to the channel. Okay. Through the transmission medium, we pass that information to the receiver. At the receiver end, they have to receive the information. That the information is not in a original form, it is in the converted form. That converted message is again to apply the security related transformation and using the key, convert that ciphertext into plain text. That means unscramble the message into original message. So this is the model for network security. How do you securely transfer the information from one entity to another entity through the network? So through the transmission, an opponent can hack your informations. Okay. So without hacking your information, how do you securely send the information from one entity to another entity? So this is the model for network security. This is next one is the model for network access security. So in that, so these are the resources, data, processors, software. These are the resources. If you want to do the access through the gatekeeper function. Okay. So this gatekeeper function to identify the user. Okay. Then if you want to do the implementation security controls to ensure only the authorized user access the designated informations or resources. Okay. So this gatekeeper function only they have to analyze whether that person is an authorized person or not. If it is an authorized person, then only they give the access to the information system. So this model does not include monitoring the system for successful penetration. Then second one is monitoring of authorized users for misuse and audit logging process. So far, we discussed the basics of cryptographic concepts such as computer security. What are the categories of security? What are the techniques are applied to the security? Then what are the basic terminologies? And what are the aspects of security and models for network security? Next video will discuss the what are the methods used for conventional and public key crypto systems. Okay, thank you.